Good morning. Hello everybody. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 30th of May. Now I'm here with my two doggos, Sophie and Sprocket. Hopefully they don't interrupt the video too much. They like a little bit of attention, as you know, my puppies. I've just sometimes got to hold Sprocket's hand, as you know. So I'm just going to close my eyes and we'll just get started and see what comes up for the 30th of May. Now I'm getting that the elites are trying to capture our attention. They're trying to really get our attention. They're really wanting to get us on this grid that they're trying to set up. It's very, very, what's the pocket? Oh my gosh. The grid is like, you know, if we think of like the Matrix, the grid is this connecting of everybody. Now, I'm actually getting visions of like the apps on our phones. Like we don't need to be surprised there about the apps on our phones. I even talked the other day about the weather apps and how you can actually load an app on your phone for pretty much anything now. And here they're talking about weather apps because of the really bad flooding here in Queensland and on the east coast of Australia. You can get an app now that will actually give you the exact weather where you're actually are at the current time. So these apps are being very carefully brought into our lives, but meanwhile they're sort of showing me on this the grid that they're connecting everybody together and they're using the apps to do this. Now this is about gathering and getting that information. Sorry about my doggos. And gathering that information and bringing all these little bits together. See, it's like they're very clever at their manipulation, because what they're doing is they're trying to well, we know that they're digitally trying to track us, but they're implementing things so subtly that people don't know. Now, I talk a lot about this younger generation and how they're very digitally savvy and this is their normal. Moving forward in their lives, they know that they kind of know that the young generations love all this digital stuff. So the more apps they've got on their phone, like the happier they are, because there's just apps coming at us left, right and center. I even, when the lockdowns were on here, for example, I went to the coffee shop and there was even an app for the coffee shop and there was a square barcode on the table and you could just put your phone on, put your app on, put the phone on, and it brought up the menu on your phone. It was like ridiculous. Like, I'm so out of touch. I mean, I don't know what you guys are like out there, but sometimes I just get frustrated by all this because sometimes my phone runs out of charge and, you know, these are the hiccups and hurdles that we're going to be faced with when the internet goes down, when all these things start to fail. Then what are they going to do, especially with the digital currency? So this is what I'm getting today. I'm getting that the apps are now being like interconnected. And obviously globally, but you know, this is how they're going to bring in that digital currency and the digital credit scoring, because it's going to be about your apps. Your apps are going to tell them a lot. Gosh, I know a lot of people out there use their fitness apps on their phone to see how many steps they've done for the day and what they've been doing. And meanwhile, they're accumulating all this data. Like, it's so easy, isn't it? People have been doing these things for quite a while now on their phones. So, you know, and we know there's nothing they don't hear. So it's not even going to be hard for them to implement now. So I'm definitely getting there's going to be a lot more apps available and at the ready whenever there's some sort of issue. The apps are going to just keep popping up and people won't realize because they're so good at implementing this all very subtly. But meanwhile, it's all starting, Sophie, it's all starting to connect. Come on, Sophie, hop up here. It's all starting to connect, and this is how they're going to connect everything globally for this credit score. You think about it, they've already implemented all the steps to this credit scoring system. Like, gosh, you know, when they did the whole digital passcodes and the vaccine passports and all this, that was a big warning sign right there that this was going to be heading somewhere. And you know, you go into a medical facility still here in Australia and you still have to sign in. I have to still sign in at my daughter's school if I go and pick her up early or anything. I have to sign in and give a reason why I'm picking her up, and that's all documented on the tracking and tracing app, even though they're not tracking and tracing, but they still want all our information of where we're going, what we're doing. You know it's already happening. It's like there's nothing you can do about it. It's just rolling out so quickly. But this is the trickery. See, people don't realize. I mean, we do. If you're watching my channel, we realize what's going on, and has been for probably the past 2.5 years. But now people are starting to see it because they're questioning, you know, why do I need an app for that? You know, why do I need an app to find out exactly the weather in my exact pinpoint location? You know, people aren't stupid. Well, they have been. When they were in the mass psychosis, they definitely were a bit blinded to all this, but now it's all starting to kind of roll out. I'll see what else we get today, but I'm definitely getting these apps are going to start coming really, really fast. Because it becomes the normal, you know. Like I said, the digitally savvy young people that are coming up through this, it's their normal. It might not be the normal for most of us sort of on my channel, but is definitely the normal for the digitally savvy youth. And of course that's what they're teaching them in the schools as well, because they're indoctrinating what they want. Sophie, oh gosh, high maintenance, my dogs. What they want down the track and what they want to implement. It's going to make it much easier if everyone's really receptive to that. So they're already planting those seeds in the young ones. Like I said the other day, by their social platforms, they're sending messages to them. We know that. We know all these games. I think there's like Candy Crush and all these things. Those games, even on their phones, are really addictive. It's like poker machines and things like that. They have the music, they have the sound, they have the ads coming up, you know. There's a lot going on at the moment, and that's becoming normalized is probably the word. I'll see what else we get today. Now this message is for you guys watching my videos rather. Don't fear what's coming. Like, it's very easy for us to, as people that see what's coming and what's being implemented and what seems out of our control, it's very easy for us to go back to those feelings of fear and overwhelm and dread. But the guides are saying it's very important that we don't go into that fear response. Now, we talk about this a lot in my videos about going behind the fence, being Wilson, protecting ourselves, shutting the gate if we need to, coming out and being like the free-range chickens, wandering around in society and then going back to protect ourselves. This is very, very important. And we don't want to have a fear response to the things that are still unfolding. Now, we know some of these things are dynamic. Like when we think of the WEF, and what's been happening in Davos in the last couple of weeks. And then we think of like China. We know currently that China is trying to power the globe. Like they really want to have that centralized dictatorship and take over the globe. That's becoming so obvious. It's been obvious to us for a long time. Of course, the Russia-Ukraine was the big issue, and we're all going to go into World War III, and the real World War, to be honest, as I believe and as you guys probably believe, is more to do with China interfering with the way our freedoms are and the running of all our countries and being a dictatorship instead of a democracy. That's more what the issue is. So the guides are really saying to focus on not allowing your fears to overcome you again. It's very important. Oh my doggos. It's very important that we don't succumb to those realities. Now, I talked about yesterday, you've got to focus on what you do want and not what you don't want. I mean, we talk here about these things because it's a healthy, safe environment that we can kind of air things because we all understand each other's thinking and where we're coming from. But it's very important that you really focus on the things that you're wanting, which is like freedom, joy in our life, having some sort of normality. I know you guys are really doing well with that out there. You're getting back to living again. You know, I talk about these things, floating off in a spaceship and creating our own realities. So this is about making sure that those fears don't rise up again. So this is kind of a warning, because I feel like when some of these big things start to come at us, it will be very easy for our fears to rise up again, because I think not only is it about the fears, but it's about our frustrations, that we're frustrated at times because people aren't seeing the enormity of what is coming at them. We see it. We know it's starting to come. But people who are waking up, which I talk about all the time, are still piecing it together, still trying to work this out. We want to shake them and say, wake up and see what's coming towards you, because you need to be seeing this. Don't go into that panic and fear and hyperventilating. And it's like saying, don't have those panic attacks, because that adds sort of fuel to this. It adds fuel to that fire. We don't want to be doing that. We need to stay in that calm, very centered, very focused, very authentic power that we actually do have inside of us. It's very important that we stay there. So you do whatever it takes. If it means you've got to sort of run away to your happy place, that's fine. And like I said yesterday, if you need to have a rest, if you're really tired from all of this, go and have a rest and recoup and re-energize yourself. This is very crucial now moving forward, because these things that are coming at people are enormous. I talked as well yesterday about the cowboy. We were like the cowboy coming into town, and you know, we had the guns ready, and people were kind of coming behind us now, because they're starting to realize something's not right. And we're kind of giving people that strength to move forward now, and to have their say, and to use their voices, and to find their power. So this is very crucial. And that's why the guides are saying it's very important not to allow that fear to stop you in your tracks. Now, I've got a few videos on fear, and fear is something that can actually cause you to stay stuck. Fear can become very debilitating, and it causes people to stay stuck. It literally can freeze you. It's like if you have something that you have to face, but you're so scared to face it, so it's easier to not face it. And that's kind of the message that the guides are giving me today. We don't want to become stuck in that fear, because we know of the enormity of what is about sort of heading our way. We need to keep moving forward. It's almost like they're showing me like a football game. And I don't know if everybody watches football out there. It might be gridiron if you're in America. But when that ball gets kicked off, and the person's there trying to catch the ball, this is at the kickoff, you have to come off the line, and you have to move towards the person who's trying to catch the ball, or it might be someone who's trying to kick the ball. You have to move towards them, because it creates an energy force. And oftentimes you'll see that footballer who's trying to catch it will like stumble and fall, and they'll miss it, or they'll let it bounce, and then the ball goes another direction. It throws things off. Now, this is just the analogy that they're giving me. It's very important that you come off the line and you move your energy forward in order to cause confusion, is probably the word I'm looking for. So if anyone watches football, I know you know what I'm saying, because if you stay back here at the line and you stay frozen in fear and you don't move forward, they catch the ball and then they run towards you and they get their momentum. So this is what the guides are saying to me. We can't stay stuck in fear. If something big is coming towards us, which we know it is, we have to move off the line. We have to move forward. We have to keep going forward. Now, this can be forward in many aspects. It can be forward with your life, forward with the information you're sharing, forward in the way that you're feeling, forward in educating other people around you. When someone asks you a question about this, just, you know, subtly say, yes, I have heard that sometimes the bee shot does cause these things. So, you know, just keep moving forward. Don't stay stuck. Now, I talk about going behind the fence a lot, which is just a place to protect ourselves. It's just a sanctuary. But in the meantime, we're creating our own world, which is the Terra Bella that we discuss in my videos all the time. We're creating our own beautiful and wonderful life. But if we stay stuck, we're never going to be able to throw these things off. And that means government, parliamentary leaders. It's about energy. You know, I always talk about these pushbacks. When we push them, they push back. When we push them, they push back. And this is how it works. So we have to keep getting off that line and not having fear and being stuck and stagnant and scared. And look, I think a lot of us have pushed through a lot of those energies, but when some of these really big things, which, like I said, we don't know even the half of everything that's buried beneath the surface, and this is around truths and things like that. What I talked yesterday about taxes and things not being paid, and there is so much corruption. It's just it's mind-boggling. It's probably better we don't know about it sometimes, because I think we would just be that shocked. You know, someone even said on a video yesterday, they were talking about Bill Gates and how he controls everything with his money, because he didn't even finish uni, I don't think, and he's a computer guy, but now he's giving us health advice at the World Economic Forum. And like they said, he's a guy who was on Epstein's planes going to that island. So is there more to that story? Just saying. Nobody knows. So these things are very complex. The information hidden from us is very, very complex. So we can't afford to get frozen in fear again. And look, I know that it sounds crazy that we would ever go back to that fear space. And look, to be honest, it could happen. It could happen to us, because it can become very scary. If you're, and look, I know in Canada you can relate to this. If you're being put in a category of putting out misinformation, and you can be charged with these offences, or you can go to jail if you don't wear your mask. These are the things moving forward that we might be faced with, or not locking down and staying in your home when you've been told to. These are very scary things. Look at Shanghai. They've been killing their pets, for Christ's sake. Imagine if that happened. Like, imagine me with my 2 dogs. I would never cope. I would never cope. So we can't afford now for those things to start to instill fear in us moving forward. It is very important, like the football game, that we get off the line and we push our energy and knock these people over. And I know, I get it. These feel like impossible tasks. That can us, the little people, even make a difference to what's rolling out on these agendas? Is it possible? But it is possible. And the guides are saying you have to know that the things that you're releasing and the things that you're putting out there and the things that you're been saying as conspiracies for the last 2.5 years are coming true. They're happening. Gosh, we have just got, and I found this out on the weekend, we have got legal cases here starting in Australia now, and I'm pretty sure it's to do with what I talked about the other month about that senator here in Australia who's bringing together all the people who were mandated, who were vaccine injured. He's been interviewing these people for probably the last 6 months, and I think I told you about them. There's a lot of videos that he's finally, I think, bringing that together, and he's got his legal team now, because now that this information with Pfizer and everything is coming out about the injuries, these people were mandated, and like I said yesterday, the herd immunity has not worked. Bill Gates at the WEF is saying that the vaccines did not work. They do not have longevity. That's coming out of his mouth. So all these people's lives have been destroyed, and now they're just playing it down like it's nothing. So this is the time for us to stop, Sophie, come here, darling. To stop any of our fears rising up. Don't let them rise up. And that's the warning from the guides today. It's very easy for us to slip back into that overwhelming feeling where we think that our little voice can't make a difference. But I want you to know, and the guides are saying today, that you need to know that it's not our little voices anymore. We're not this tiny fringe minority, as you know in Canada. We're not this little group anymore. There is an awakening process that is causing other people to rise up. And I still believe it's the awakening process. We're just being tested by many, many things. Oh, isn't that an understatement? I'll just see what else we get today. But look, really push through your fear. Get off that line and do what you got to do in order to make this thing topple and to make them drop the ball, is what we're saying. Because these governments and parliamentary leaders, they've got a lot of balls in the air. It's like the juggling act. They're juggling climate change. They're juggling Russia. Oh, now it's China. They're buying all the islands. This is the stuff that's going on. They're trying to juggle and keep all the balls in the air. But if we get off that line, we can put that energy and we can force them to drop a few of these balls. And by dropping the balls, it exposes the truths. And that's what the guides are saying to us today. Keep exposing the truths. It's crucial in this journey moving forward, and we're the ones that can do that. You know, I talked about yesterday in my video, I think it was my June reading, about we've been chosen, meaning that little Martian in Toy Story that gets the claw comes down in the vending machine thing and chooses him and takes him and drops him to the exit of the vending machine. You know, you have been chosen. You've been chosen because you have the strength and the will, and you have that tenacious ability to achieve these goals that have been sort of set before you. So make sure, and that's a message from the guides, that fear does not rise up into your reality. Keep focusing on the opposite, I guess, of fear, which is always comes back to love, doesn't it? And the way that Sprocky, the way that you keep finding that love is just you keep finding it in yourself, and you keep having that happiness, and you keep finding your strength, and you keep enjoying your life and doing the opposite to what they want you to do, which is locking you down, shutting you up, keeping you hidden. That's not who we are. We're not going to be hidden, as I think most people have realised that now. Especially here on my Facebook, I post a lot of stuff on there because, oh, darling, oh, I've got to hold his hand. Come on. Because I won't be hidden anymore. We just won't hide anymore because we know what's coming. I'll just see what else we get today. So work on your life and keeping it moving in that good vibration, and get off the line. Don't wait for things to come at you. We move towards them. I think we've been proving that over the last 2.5 years anyway. I'll just see what else we get today. Now the guides are saying to me, factor in the curtains. So the other day I talked about the curtains being half drawn, like in a movie theatre or a window. The curtains are half drawn. Now, they have done this, government and parliament, so things are softer, so that people don't draw the curtains right back and see the whole picture. They figure if they can just soften the curtains, and this comes about the narrative again, they've had to take the softly, softly approach. So they're having to introduce things very subtly because, like I said, they don't want more people waking up and seeing everything. So the curtains had to be drawn and the curtains had to be closed a little bit just to soften, you know, the light so it's not too bright and everyone doesn't see everything. I'm still getting that. These curtains are still semi-drawn. So these people waking up still aren't exposed to everything. And look, it's probably not a bad thing anyway, because like I said, when people get woken up, it's such a shock that they wouldn't be able to absorb all the information and sort it all out in their own mind. And it could cause a lot of them to slip back. So if you come here into that mass psychosis, which is not what we want. So even though they're trying to subtly feed us bits and pieces and, you know, like I said, things about the apps on our phones and climate and bits about this and that. And now we've created, like, our new Prime Minister went to the big Quad meeting, whatever that is. Does anyone know what that is? Because I don't. So they're creating all these things that it sounds all so wonderful and like it's going to improve your life. And if we go to Davos and do the WEF, we're all going to change your lives for the better. There's nothing to see here. The curtains are still drawn, but we're still saving the world and the planet with our climate agendas. And, you know, we know all the lies and deception that's really going on behind the curtain. But, you know, sometimes we've got to look at these things as it's not all bad, because it allows people to actually find that information out, one piece of information kind of at a time. So, you know, someone might be looking up the World Economic Forum, another person might be looking up the Quad, and someone else might be saying, what's happening in Shanghai? Like, so we want them to get the full story of each situation. And now we've got the military in America, I think it is, are fighting back about these mandates. And we've also got now a lot of the funeral homes and things are coming out with their truths about the blood clots. And that's been like, apparently 60% of bodies, dead bodies, are full of blood clots. And that's a marked difference, they reckon, started in 2021. So there's a bit of a pattern forming there. So what I'm saying to you is that people need to, the people waking up, not us because we already know what's going on, the people that are waking up need to absorb the full amount of that information. So they need to see what's happening with the military over here in America. Why are they, what are they saying? What, myocarditis has like gone through the roof in 2 years? Like, we need them to really search in and find that information. So that's why it's not a bad thing, and it can be in our favor that these curtains are still semi-drawn, because it's allowing people to get all the information. They're not just getting snippets of this, and this, and going, oh, conspiracy. That's not happening anymore. So, you know, as much as government thinks they're sort of being very clever, hiding things from people, it's actually working in our favor, is what the guide's saying, because it's enabling people to spend more time. You know, like I said here, we've got protest after protest. We've got nurses, doctors, AMBOs, probably fireys will be next standing up. Everybody's standing up. Teachers have had so many strikes that people are kind of querying this now. They're kind of going, wow, this is interesting. Like, how come we're having so many protests? Yeah, hello, we know why they're having so many protests, but they just never saw it. But don't worry, they're starting to see it now. When suddenly they can't send their kids to school because there's another protest, it starts to affect people. What, the hospital's short-staffed, so we can't have our day surgery today again. Like, this is still going on. This is not finished. People's lives are still being greatly affected by this. It's the spillage, you know, it's that spillage. It's like when you overflow, you know, you might think of one of those big water storage tanks, and you know, the water comes in and the water's in there, and then suddenly it rains, and then suddenly the water's all spilling over the top because there's like too much information, but it's trickling out kind of nicely that people can absorb the information, because that's what we want, these people waking up to absorb the information very clearly. We don't want the dam sort of bursting and then causing a catastrophic event, and then they all just get washed back into the mass psychosis. So we've got to actually see this as it's working in our favour, because it's allowing people to actually see all the truths. I'll just see where else we're going with this today, and if there's any final messages. They're showing me like a birthday cake. This is for government. So it's like, you know, they had their birthday cake and they were all cheering, and, you know, they were all rolling all this out, and everyone was excited because people were all falling for it, and everything's just going smooth. So we're going to have this big cake, and we're going to blow out the candles, and we're going to celebrate. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, people are just smashing the cake. So they're showing me, like, you know, it's like at a kid's party, and some kid just loses his shit, basically, and smashes up the cake. And it's just a heap of crumbs. And this is what they're showing me about government and global leaders. I'm getting this really strong vision of the cake being just smashed to smithereens. Let's hope this is happening. But things have not gone to plan. Their big agenda has not gone to plan. Yes, certain aspects of it have, and they were almost ready to celebrate, but the fact that the cake is now just a big mush of cream and jam and sponge and just a big mess shows that they're losing control. So it shows that other people are having input into their lives, and it's not just the perfect cake and it's all just coming out and we can make a wish and blow out the candles, because people aren't having it. And this is the waking up people. They're not having it. They're squashing all their plans. and I think that's a really clear visual. And they're not even eating the cake. People are squashing it. Normally, like a kid, you think of a kid, as you like squash the cake, he'd still scoff it and eat it. Not happening. People aren't even eating the cake. They're wanting to even stomp on it with their feet. They want dirt on it and everything, so it's inedible. And this is what I'm getting. And you think about it, this would be about the jabs. People know it's a toxic thing, and now they're scared, they're worried, they're frightened, and this is why they're trying to smash down that narrative. Look, we know there's people still stuck in it. That's fine. They're in their mass psychosis. They get fed whatever they are fed. But I think, look, for most of us out there, we can see that the monkeypox, hello, that's kind of fizzling already. So they're going to have to come up with another variant because that one didn't sort of take off. I told you ages ago about the mosquito virus here when we had the floods. Suddenly we had the Japanese encephalitis, which was very serious, and you had to get the jab, which no one took up on, mind you. Maybe some people did, but God, not many. And that fizzled out as quick as it came. So this is that squashing of the cake. It's not just going to plan. Now they're giving out free flu vaccines here in Australia. God, so over it. And, you know, we know people will take that up, but people are cautious now. People are very cautious about where this is all heading and why is this happening. And you remember, we planted so many seeds and pieces of doubt and droplets of doubt, rather, into these people's minds that now they're thinking, hang on, is C possibly the flu? Like, how did that disappear for 2 years? That, you know, and seriously, the number of people that died with the flu prior to 2020 was higher than the people that died with C. So it's all just a circus, isn't it? People are starting to wake. They're waking up. We have to know people are waking up. So I want to really leave you with that today, that people are waking up and they're really seeing this. I told you, the veils have lifted and the rose-colored glasses are gone. And people are squashing that cake now because they really want to find what's in that cake. They're almost, it's like you could say they're looking for the real ingredients. Like, what's really in this cake? And that's the image that the people, the guides rather, are giving me. People want to know what the hell is in this cake. And that could be, ooh, what the hell is in this bee jab? We definitely would like to know that, wouldn't we? Because it's had a huge effect on a lot of people. But now, can you imagine if you've put that into you, you want to know what the hell ingredients have been going in to your body for the last couple of years, because a lot of people have had a lot of jabs. So that's what I'm getting today. They want to know what the hell is going on, so they're crushing everything, the cake down, and they're trying to search through and figure out the ingredients now. Not us. We're over here. We're over here cooking a barbecue behind the fence now. We're just cooking a barbecue, maybe some prawns on the barbie, cooking a steak. we're over there having a beer and a wine and a coffee, and we're relaxed and we're enjoying ourselves, because we're not going to let that fear ever rise up in us again, because that is how government and parliamentary leaders get their power, through fear, and we know it. So we are going to go and cook a barbie, or whatever you do wherever you're living. You might toast marshmallows out on the open fire. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Just something to do with heat. Bring a lot of heat back into your life, which is the light again, lighting up. And that's what I'm getting today. And leave these people now to crush that cake and find out the ingredients and what the hell's going on. You know, and when I think of cake ingredients too, it's who's involved here. Like, is Gates really paying money to all these media giants, and who owns what? What do you mean BlackRock and Vanguard own everything? And, you know, this is happening. And why is China buying all the little islands? Hang on a minute. Maybe there's something real to this. They are waking up, and I'm going to leave you with that today. Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on, isn't there? But anyway, let's get out, cook our barbies and toast our marshmallows, and go and have some fun, enjoy our life as we have been, and stay away from the fear. Because the fear can drag us back as well into all that uncertainty, and we don't need that anymore. We've got to keep moving forward, and that's that message about getting off that line in the football game. Make sure you get off the line and you throw these things and make them all, like I said, the juggling of the balls. We want them to drop the ball, and that's government and parliamentary leaders. We've got to get them to drop the ball, because it's already starting to happen. Take care, everybody. Look, I'm going to say goodbye today. I'm going to get these doggos sorted. They're both really tired. It's so cold here with the frost. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If anyone wants to go and check out my fear videos, I might post one here. I've got a few on fear and how to get through like anxiety and fear as well if you're really struggling at the moment. And please hit the like buttons. I love that. And I will see you very soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye from Australia.